Welcome to The Explainer. I am so incredibly thrilled you're here today because we are going on a really fascinating journey. We are going to decode the hidden psychology of connection. We're starting right at the tip of the iceberg, those superficial, instant signals of physical attraction. And we're going to dive all the way down into the profound and honestly often hidden emotional core of true intimacy.
It's kind of the ultimate question, right? What actually creates lasting attraction? We are diving way beneath the surface of modern dating games, the swiping, and all those ridiculous texting rules, to uncover the real mechanics of male psychology and human connection. Spoiler alert, it's not what society tells you it is.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the science of surface attraction. Think of this as just the tip of the iceberg.
So there are 6 very specific hairstyles that actually trigger this subconscious attraction. We're talking long flowing locks, the classic ponytail, soft bouncy curls, half up, half down, braids, and of course, the famous messy bun. And here's the thing, these aren't just aesthetic fashion choices. Our source data shows these are actually powerful visual triggers that speak directly to a man's biology on a totally subconscious level.
Now, you might be wondering, why do those specific styles work? Well, it all comes down to evolutionary subconscious cues. Things like a swaying ponytail or a messy bun subtly expose the neck, which is a delicate feature, and they frame the face. They create movement. To the primitive part of a man's brain, this instantly signals health, vitality, and most importantly, approachability. It's basically a silent language of attraction.
Moving right along to Section 2, when you're more than friends. We are going just below the surface here.
Okay, so there is a stark contrast to look out for here. Think about it. With a casual friend, your interaction is basically all about convenience, right? You talk when it fits, the effort might be intense for a random weekend, but then it completely fades away. But true interest, that is based entirely on intention. He doesn't just fit you in when he's bored, he consistently prioritizes you. He actively rearranges his focus to quietly and steadily integrate you into his life.
I absolutely love this quote from our sources. It says, "Love doesn't start with chemistry, it starts with consideration." Chemistry is fantastic, for sure, but it basically just excites the nervous system. It makes you anxious and jittery. True consideration, where someone actively adjusts their behavior based on your inner world, that actually calms your nervous system down. And that is exactly where deep trust is built.
So, the really crucial takeaway here is consistency over intensity. Movies and pop culture totally romanticize those grand, intense gestures, like the sudden kiss in a rainstorm. But true emotional investment is steady. It's him following through on what he says, remembering the tiny details you casually mentioned weeks ago, and just being reliably, safely present in your life.
Let's dive into Section 3, the hidden scars of loneliness. We're really getting into the deep waters now.
When a man has been starved of genuine warmth and intimacy for a long time, it literally changes him. Before we look at the specific behaviors, read this quote with me. Intimacy isn't just being close, it's feeling safe enough to stay close. When someone has been without real intimacy for a long period, it's not just the physical touch they are missing. They've actually lost their emotional sanctuary. They have completely forgotten how to feel safe in the presence of someone else.
And because of that lost sense of safety, you're going to see some really specific signs of intimacy starvation. You might notice him being unusually distant or heavily guarded, or maybe he swings the exact opposite way and overcompensates with loud false confidence. He might panic if you take too long to text back, or romanticize a first date because he's just so hopeful. What you are witnessing is a deeply confusing, conflicting cycle. He desperately wants connection, but he is terrified of the vulnerability it requires.
So, when he suddenly pulls back just as things are getting deep and meaningful, it is so incredibly easy to take that personally. But our sources are super clear on this. It's self-preservation, not rejection. His heart has essentially learned to hesitate. To him, investing emotionally feels like a massive, dangerous risk because he is so afraid of losing that connection again. Which brings us to our final part, Section 4, the power of calm presence. This is the ultimate anchor for connection.
Here's the truly incredible thing. The gesture that actually melts those walls, it's not some flashy performance or dating game. It's just 3 simple elements. Number 1, calm, intentional energy, just slowing down. Number 2, warm, relaxed eye contact that isn't desperately seeking validation. And third, comfortable, unforced silence. When you combine these three things, you actually activate his nervous system to relax, naturally releasing bonding hormones like oxytocin.
I really want you to ask yourself this. Do you panic when the conversation goes quiet? Honestly, most of us do. We immediately rush to fill the silence with jokes or random chatter. But learning to embrace comfortable, peaceful silence is deeply magnetic. It signals to a man that he doesn't need to perform or be entertaining to be safe with you. You are just happily sharing space. This dynamic perfectly illustrates the difference between masculine and feminine energy. Our modern world basically demands that we spend all day in this masculine energy, doing, achieving, controlling, and leading. But pure feminine energy is about being, receiving, and allowing. When you step into this calm, grounding presence, you actually create the energetic space for him to step up, protect, and connect with you romantically.
Look, I know it can feel genuinely scary to drop your own armor. But remember this, softness isn't weakness. It takes incredible strength to be open and vulnerable. True strength isn't about playing hard to get, being overly complicated, or keeping your walls 10 feet high. It is about trusting yourself enough to just sit there completely open and authentic, no matter what the outcome is.
When you tap into that strength, this completely beautiful timeline starts to unfold. It all starts with you offering that grounded, calm presence. That triggers an internal shift where his nervous system finally relaxes. Because he feels safe, vulnerability stops feeling so risky, which leads to completely natural growth. And finally, you reach a lasting bond where trust and consistency deepen entirely effortlessly. No games required whatsoever.
If you take away just one single thing from this whole explainer, please let it be this. Stop performing, start being. The absolute most irresistible, magnetic trait you can possibly possess isn't the perfect outfit or the cleverest text message. It is simply being authentic, grounded, and present without constantly demanding outside validation. So, I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. In a world where literally everyone is wearing masks, playing games, and trying so desperately hard to be impressive, do you have the courage to stop performing and just be? Drop the armor, embrace your calm presence, and see how profoundly it changes the way you connect. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it sparks a whole new way of looking at your relationships.